Fear and loathing in music. What is this all about? This is related to a question or probably a comment more so that I get from a lot of folks. And that is, I don't want to share my music. I am scared. I have apprehension. I have anxiety. I'm stressed out. Whatever language you want to use, fear and art kind of go hand in hand. Unfortunately, for a couple of reasons. It's scary to share your art. You're exposing yourself. You're exposing your soul, in some cases, to the rest of the world, or at least to a group of people. That can be daunting. And it's actually like it's something that comes naturally to a lot of artistic folks. We are often with hyper creativity comes hyper awareness and overthinking. I'm an overthinker, card carrying overthinker right here. So instead of just putting your stuff out there and going, I will share music now, boom, you go, if I share music, then this might happen, then this might happen, then this might happen, then this might, what if this person says that? And what if that person says this? Yeah, it's what I call catastrophizing. You basically take the worst possible case scenario and then you assume that that is actually what's going to happen. It's not. In my experience, it's not. So I wanted to go through, and I'm going to cover 5 different concepts here that have helped me over time. And I think just thinking about these, being aware of these, not going to make you overcome them. Fear of things is not something like people say, oh, just scared straight. You just get the fear out of you and then you're never afraid of it again. No, everything, as you'll hear in these little parts, is about building out and finding ways to cope and to manage things, not to fix. There is no on-off switch with this stuff. Now, before we start, I am a 41-year-old straight white male in a westernized country. So you might be saying, you got nothing to worry about. Yeah, I'm going to absolutely accept that. But the beautiful part, the good thing is that I listen pretty actively and I talk to a lot of different people in a lot of situations. So I completely agree that I'm not in a situation that you may be in and that you may have your own very unique and special circumstances. So this is generic advice. This isn't going to be absolutely perfect for everyone, but hopefully you take 1 or 2 bits out of it. First concept I want to talk about is the concept of fight or flight. So this is that lizard brain. This is that feeling that we have from way back in the caveman days where you had to fight or flight because it was a matter of survival. So if you ever have that feeling of that, rising heart rate and that, if anyone that's had an anxiety attack or a panic attack right here, that rising anxiety, that feeling of dread, and then you're like, okay, I either need to be aggressive with this and fight it or just run the heck away. And that's what that fight or flight mechanism is. How that relates to music is that a lot of people will either flight, will not share their music at all, or they'll share it and then instantly become defensive. Have you ever seen the forum posts and the things where people are putting their music out? It seems to be kind of either they're not putting it out, or when they do put it out, then anyone that criticizes anything, they'll find excuses and reasons for why that is, or they'll go get into arguments about why you need to use Pro Tools or GarageBand, when really that's not relevant. The music is what's relevant. So that's where the fight or flight kind of comes in when it comes to music. The other concept that I really like is the circle of comfort. So I use this analogy all the time, and I've used it in a bunch of different things, and it's helped me a lot. And that is that if you're thinking about your comfort zone, if you're thinking about putting music out there in the world and releasing your music, if you blow up a balloon really fast, what happens? It goes, right? So if you go from not sharing music to just putting it out there to the world and putting it out publicly, well then, yeah, you're probably going to get into that fight or flight, or you're probably going to find difficulties because you're going too fast. You're pushing out of your circle of comfort too fast. However, what happens if you blow the balloon up a little bit, let a little air out, blow it up again, let a little air out, blow it up again, let a little air out? You can actually build this big, strong balloon because you're working out. And again, that's a weird analogy with the balloon, but if you think about it in terms of when you're trying to do something, the first time you share a song is absolutely nerve-wracking. The second time you share a song, after the first time you haven't been completely trolled by everyone on the internet, you feel a lot better. The third time, you'll be feeling significantly better. By the time you're sharing your 10th song, you're excited. You're happy. You just want the feedback. You want to learn and grow and find out what folks are saying so that you can improve your music. So, circle of comfort, that's the second concept. Concept number 3 is to find your safe place. Now, I like to think that the Studio Live Today community is a safe place. I like to think that the Facebook groups that we have as part of this community called Create, Record, Release, and as well as the GarageBand users and other Facebook groups, are safe communities there where people are out there not to bring people down, but to actually build people up. And that's the big difference, is that if you don't find your safe place, if you go out and just share your music randomly to the wider internet, yeah, there are going to be people that are going to say some harsh things about your music, about you, about your mother, a whole bunch of stuff. But if you find your safe place to start sharing, then that is going to be the best way to do it. So I encourage and recommend that your safe place be here with this community. Related to that is your support network. So the fourth concept is to have a support network and to have people around you that, again, are going to build you up, not tear you down. You don't need people around that are going to add negativity, that are going to tell you what you shouldn't do, or are going to be too black and white. I talk about that a lot. The two phrases missing from our society at the moment is "in my opinion" and "in my experience." Too many people are using direct, definitive statements to express their opinion or express their experience. In my experience, in my opinion, not fact. So have a good support network of people that are going to share their experience and their opinions, but are not going to talk down to you and make it impossible for you to share with them. And fifth, here's the thing: people get to the end of some of these rants that I do about things like this, and they say, "But what if I still don't want to?" And my answer to that is, that's your choice. 100%. Choosing not to do something is just as valid a choice as choosing to do it. And I know a heap of folks that have shared music with me directly. So they've emailed me a song and I've said, "This is awesome. You have to share this with the community." And they're like, "I'm just not comfortable to do that yet." And at first I was like, "Oh, come on, you really should share. Like, this is great. Art needs to be shared." All of those sort of things. And they say, "I'd rather not." And they just want to share it. They just want to make it for themselves. And early on, I probably was misguided because, again, I forgot to use phrases like "in my experience" and "in my opinion." So I just said, "No, because I did this, you need to do this now." No, the choice not to act is as much of a choice as what you actually do. So keep all those things in mind. If you are suffering from fear and anxiety and loathing in not Las Vegas, but in creating and sharing music, hopefully that just gave you a few concepts. And if nothing else, it just let you know that we've all been there. Every single person, I don't care how confident and competent you are, every single person, when they're first sharing their music, goes through some of these cycles. If not all of these cycles, they go through some of them. So hopefully that helps you out.